Hey again, everyone, it's Tyler Cavalli and Jacob Roth as we are moving our way to southeast Nebraska as part of KRVN's Sizzling Across Nebraska, the Red Meat Road Trip. Thanks to our great sponsors in the Nebraska Beef Council, Cross Diamond Cattle, Cross Diamond Meats in Bertrand, the Dawson County Cattlemen, and of course the Nebraska Cattlemen as well. We have found ourselves in Table Rock, Nebraska, Jacob, and this is a spot, as we have learned on our different treks before on the Red Meat Road Trip here at Den's Country Meats, highly respected place.
No, it's one of the ones we hear about whenever we're talking to the lockers, and we've talked about it before, but the folks that run the lockers seem to all kind of be friends with one another. This is a stop we get asked, oh, have you been out there yet? Have you been to Table Rock yet? No has been the answer until now.
Yeah.
Excited to kind of learn more about why that's the fact and just kind of learn more about what's going on here in Table Rock.
All right, so let's learn more about Den's Country Meats here in Table Rock, Nebraska, part of KRVN's Sizzling Across Nebraska Red Meat Road Trip. Hey, again, we're talking to Kim Shart now, who's joining us. She is one of the co-owners here at Den's Country Meats as we're here in Table Rock. All right, Kim, let's talk about let's go back to the beginning of everything and how this kind of all got started here at Den's Country Meats and the idea. And you guys have owned this for 40 years, which is incredible.
40 years, yes. Dennis bought his first plant when he was 19. We were in a small space on the town square, quickly outgrew that, and we actually lost our grocery store and our gas station in town. And Dennis said if people have to leave town to buy those things, they're not going to come in. So we put this building up and we moved in December of 1995.
So talk about the idea or why Dennis wanted to start this whole project 40 years ago.
I don't know. I don't know. He grew up on the farm and realized it probably wasn't enough for everyone to stay home and farm. He worked one summer with the owner of the locker who was closing it, and decided that was his opportunity to buy.
So talk about the difference between the locker where it was previously, the original, and the one now, and the differences.
The other locker was tiny. The retail area was one cooler with a few products in it, with the processing room. The smokehouses were in the back. They're tiny. We thought when we moved here we had all the space we would ever need. So, yes.
So comparing how many heads you were running then through there to now, would you say that it's quite a bit difference?
Yes, it is different. Dennis was the only one who butchered back in the day, and now we have staff that helps with that, so we're able to do more head. This week with county fairs, this month with county fairs, we're doing probably about 150 hogs and 50 beef, which is a high number for our small facility here.
A very high number. I mean, I feel like whenever we talk about kind of the numbers of things, producers will be like, oh, it's a busy time, gotta do this whenever processors talk, but that's a huge amount of work to work through. Talk about kind of what the county fair kind of does and how that changes stuff up, because it is a big kind of boost of business at the time.
County fair is a big time for us. The 4-H animals, all have to have somewhere to go when the fair's over. And there are a couple fairs. Dennis takes a trailer too that have a large number of animals that come, and he loads animals on a Sunday night and brings them in for the week.
And obviously, as we were kind of talking before we got started, bit of a family operation going on here. Talk about kind of the cool factor of that is there's awards all over the place, but knowing it's a family ordeal as well.
It is a family ordeal. Dennis bought this again when he was 19 and needed his dad to co-sign a loan for building and for equipment. And his parents were huge in helping him in the early years. And as we married, then I came and worked with them. Our children, as they grew up, have spent a lot of time here at the plant, still spend time. Our daughter and son-in-law both work full-time with us. Our other boys come in during our busy times when we need them, as do our daughter-in-laws. So it's definitely a family-run business.
Kim, I want to go back to, you mentioned, really the innovative thought of Dennis when he initially said, if the grocery store's closing down and everybody's going to leave, let's build something where people don't have to leave. I'm sure that's worked out really well for you guys, along with what you're also offering.
Yes, it has. We have gas pumps, so we get a lot of people that stop for gas that don't know what we have inside, and are pleasantly surprised when they come in.
No, and that's another thing is we're kind of looking around. Obviously, you talked about the one freezer in your retail space in the old building. We're standing in front of, you almost want to call it 6 freezers. They're so large. Talk about kind of the explosion and the growth of things here as you've moved into this bigger facility, and as lockers kind of feel like they've faded out, but have kind of came back in recent years.
Lockers have faded out. The numbers have dropped. You have to be creative with your product, and that's what we've done. We have so many different products that, like you said, 6 freezers and really not even enough space for what we have now. We entered product in an international competition this year, and we entered 72 different sausage products. So that kind of explains how many products we have here.
Well, and of course, you have to tell us, how did that go for you?
How did that go? It went really well. We won the overall award from the German Butchers Association in the sausage competition and the ham competition. So very proud.
Congratulations on that. That's awesome. Have you guys been competing for a while? I mean, obviously, we're kind of standing in front of a lot of awards.
Dennis started competing right away when he opened his business. He joined the Nebraska Association of Meat Processors. They have an annual conference with the cured meats competition. We also are very active in our national association, the American Association of Meat Processors, and enter products in that competition. And then a few years ago got involved in the international competition.
40 years of expertise at this point, and 40 years of competing and winning. Talk about some of the different products that you guys do offer here in your store.
So probably our best seller would be our old-fashioned ring bologna. Just it's what our town is known for, what Den's is known for. He makes his own hot dogs, an old-fashioned hot dog that's very popular. All of our jerkies and snack sticks. We've branched out a little bit. We have our plain summer sausages. We have the ones with cheese and different variations. We have one with cranberries and jalapenos. That's a great seller. He started a few years ago. He did a bratwurst that has macaroni and cheese in it. Made it one day for the store, decided to take it to national competition, and came home with first place. So you just have to be creative with those things.
Award-winning meats here at Den's Country Meats in Table Rock. All right, as we wrap up things with you here, Kim, talk about why somebody should stop in and what makes your guys' place so special.
Our place is so special. We are small town. We are family-oriented. We put a lot of hard work and pride into our products, and we think you just really enjoy.
All right, again, that is Kim Shart, who is one of the co-owners for Den's Country Meats here in Table Rock. All right, we're back again here in Table Rock as we're at Den's Country Meats. We're talking to Courtney Shreve, who is one of the co-owners here. And Courtney, let's talk about the behind-the-scenes aspect of things and the day-to-day operations. And we obviously have heard things with Kim and talked about how things have grown, but day-to-day, what do things look like here at Den's Country Meats?
Yeah, so we've had the same schedule for quite a while, but we are a slaughter facility, so we slaughter hogs on Monday and beef on Wednesdays. And then the thing about the hogs is they're in and out in a week. So they're coming on Monday, we cut Tuesday, we cure Wednesday, and they're out by Thursday or Friday. So that schedule goes pretty fast. And then beef come in and they hang for a couple weeks, and then we cut that to whatever the customer wants.
Have you kind of found that right timing in terms of hanging those cattle?
Yeah, so we hang for 10 days is about what we hang for, and it just seems to be a sweet spot for us to get things going so that customers enjoy it.
Do you feel like you have are most of the cattle that come in here, are they all Nebraska cattle? You guys are close to Kansas and Missouri as well.
Yeah, so we're a USDA inspected facility, so we can have cattle from any state come in, but we see a lot come in from Kansas, and we do have some from Missouri and Iowa as well.
Yeah, let's talk about the proximity to those other states because you are one of those areas where we're at on the Red Meat Road Trip and part of the Nebraska Beef Passport program that has maybe that advantage, right, of reaching out and being USDA inspected to other customers. But talk about how that maybe is an advantage for you guys.
Yeah, so we do a lot of private labeling for people, and so a lot of those will come out of Kansas, and we can process their animals for them, and then they can resell it to another facility, to a retailer if they want to. So we do quite a few private labelers in our business.
Yeah, talk about that aspect, because I feel like we haven't really talked about that a lot. People just, it's the typical come in, kind of leave with it, or reselling it to somebody else, but not the private labeling. Talk more about that aspect.
Yeah, so private labeling is when someone comes and they want to put their own label on something. So we're able to cut it to whatever they want it to look like. We make a lot of further processing things. So we're making a lot of jerky and a lot of snack sticks for those groups. And then they're able to resell that, legally in another gas station or a grocery store or even at farmers markets.
No, and talking of the grocery store, farmers market, you guys are kind of that grocery store, gas station hybrid, also slapping on the entirety of a slaughter facility. Looking around though, you guys have some really, I don't want to say professional, but kind of fancy labeling. You've got nice boxes for your snack sticks. Talk about kind of that whole deal, and is it only available here? Can folks get your stuff in other places?
Yeah, so we have about 15 other retailers that you can purchase through. We have a map on our website, so you can find us. For example, we're in the Dollar Fresh in Fall City, Nebraska, and so they can sell our meat for us. But we also have an online store, and so if you go to densecountrymeats.com, you can buy things that are in our case right here, and we will ship it to you within 2 days.
No, really, really cool thing that's not as common. Talk more about that online thing, and how long has that been going, and have you seen success with it, especially in recent years, as obviously online shopping has kind of taken over everything, it feels like.
Yeah, our online store is new. It just started last fall. I enjoy doing that. It's my favorite thing because everything is refrigerated. It has to go out in 2 days. And so food safety is important to us in getting it out to the customer. And so our orders ship on Mondays and Tuesdays. But people can order over the weekend, and then I come in on Monday and ship it out to them. And I love having that connection to customers, not just here in Nebraska, but I've shipped to places like North Carolina and Washington State. It's going all across the nation.
Great to hear Nebraska beef is leaving the borders, going to other places as well. All right, let's talk about, again, here on the video aspect of things. We're looking at some of the coolers. We talked a little bit about that with Kim, about some of the specialty things you have, but I assume you guys also have your usual cuts of steaks and ground beef as well.
We do, yeah. So every week we're doing lots and lots of hamburger for customers. Ground beef is going out the door, but your regulars like ribeyes and T-bones and chuck roasts, all of that is going out to customers, especially to our community, our local customers.
We're right now in an interesting time with Nebraska cattle, or just I should say the cattle industry and the prices, right? They're up right at this moment. Have you seen that impact the business at all here at Den's Country Meats?
It's changed a little bit with our pricing, but it's not stopping people from coming in the door. People want good Nebraska beef, and this is a place that they can find it.
Clip it right there. That's the whole thing. And again, kind of going back in time a little bit, as we talked about markets changing things, COVID was a really kind of turbulent time for a lot of spots. What did that look like here at Den's Country Meats, just overall?
Yeah, COVID really opened a lot of new doors for us. I feel like it was a time when people became interested in where their food comes from, and they found local butcher shops. There was meat shortages and looking for that, and we had product to offer, and we had farmers to connect them with as well. And so that's really where that private labeling took off, and we were able to get cuts to people that needed it when they wanted it, and it really just grew our business.
You guys are a part of the Nebraska Beef Passport Program, hence why we are here. Why did you guys decide to sign up?
We love being a part of the Nebraska Passport Program. Working with industry partners like the Beef Council is a great way for all of us to be on the same page and just share what Nebraska beef is all about and how it's a great product.
Okay, so Kim mentioned some things that if you're coming through, to stop by and get, but if somebody that is now listening or watching this part of the program, what should they stop and try? Whether that's the snack sticks or whatever it may be of Nebraska beef, what would you recommend?
Yeah, so I think the main thing that people should stop and try is our beef sticks. They're delicious. We have some that are refrigerated, but we also have some that are shelf stable, so they don't have to be refrigerated. They're 1.5 ounce stick. They're bigger than everyone else's, but they're full of Nebraska beef, so they're delicious.
1.5 ounces of Nebraska beef. What's better than that?
Not much.
We've had a lot of different sticks. We'll obviously have to try some here at this point. All right, as we wrap things up here, Courtney, talk about, again, your hours and the days that you guys are open, and again, that online store.
Yep, we're open Monday through Friday, 7 to 6, and Saturdays, 8 to noon, so we're here a lot. But the online store is always open, so feel free to shop whenever.
And you can ship to pretty much anywhere, right?
Anywhere in the United States, yep.
Good to know. I'm sure we'll have some outside listeners as well. And also talk about the convenient location because you guys are right off the highway.
Yeah, we're right off the highway, Nebraska 4 in Table Rock, but we're a gas station, easy to get to. We're about an hour south of Lincoln.
All right, very good. Well, make sure you stop by. 40 years of successful business here in Table Rock. Den's Country Meats. As we're talking to Courtney Shreve, who is one of the co-owners, of course, here of KRVN Sizzling across Nebraska. All right, we are wrapping up what has been one of our favorite stops. Or I'm maybe just speaking for myself here. I think you could probably agree here at Den's Country Meats in Table Rock. First off, the nicest people and just a great place.
No, absolutely. I mean, really cool facilities. Again, it's that story of, granted, this isn't as new as some of the other new facilities, but it started more in town, had to move out. They've adapted with the times, and that's a thing that I feel has been a reoccurring theme across all of the great stops so far. Not just that they all haven't been great to some extent, but there has to be an adaptability as just things have changed. Lockers aren't as prevalent. Every locker that's still standing has done something to be a little bit different, and what they're doing here, the gas station, grocery store, and high-quality meats, it just all kind of works together in a nice bundle here right off the highway, and just a ton of fun.
40 years of experience, 40 years of being in the community and just being available here in southeast Nebraska. Clearly, that has paid off. They have been competing for 40 years, and clearly, practice makes perfect, as, boy, they just won a national and a world award, international award. They were also named Independent Processor of the Year, and this is all great information we found out afterwards.
After we were done talking to him.
But we said we'd still spread the award winning. And Dennis, who obviously we did not interview, but he was the man behind actually working today, but that started this whole thing 40 years ago. Dennis was named to the Cured Meats Hall of Fame, so congratulations to him.
Yeah, I mean, just all these great things. We just were talking to him after the interview, and then just information after information, like, we should have asked about that. We didn't think of that. That's on our bad. But it was great to learn more about why this is that place that is respected and is well known by all of the meat processors. And it seems like it's not just the Nebraska meat processors. It's a national thing. Folks know about Den's Country Meats and Dennis and his whole family that have kind of piled on and made this a family operation. And once you get a business to successfully run for any double-digit number, honestly, it's impressive. But 40, that's quite the feat, and they've done it here in Table Rock.
Stop by. This obviously is one of those spots where you need to come here to Den's Country Meats. Obviously, as Jacob mentioned, a place that is well known and respected within the meats community, but also across the world, especially in Germany. I'm sure Germany is well aware of Dennis and Den's Country Meats.
Table Rock is a metropolis as far as they're concerned, and just really, really cool stop. And again, to see all the trophies and see their judging scorecards in German say perfect product, it's just really, really cool.
And that doesn't happen from what we understand. Thanks again to Kim Shart, who is one of the co-owners, and Courtney Shreve, who's also one of the co-owners as well, for the hospitality, the Santa sack of meats that we are able to consume as well. We're really excited about all of that, but we really appreciate them hosting us here at Den's Country Meats. And of course, thanks to our great sponsors, the Nebraska Cattlemen, the Dawson County Cattlemen, the Nebraska Beef Council, Cross Diamond Meats, and Cross Diamond Cattle as well in Bertrand. Without them, we couldn't power this red meat road trip here to southeast Nebraska. So for Jacob Roth and Tyler Cavalli reporting from Table Rock here at Den's Country Meats, it's KRVN Sizzling across Nebraska.